Ladies and gentlemen, before we conclude, I just wanted to throw a couple of observations of my own. This is a very complex topic. We've heard a lot of very interesting suggestions, very pointed diagnoses, I think, and I can't help feeling that somewhere along the line, when we lament the ineffectiveness of Parliament, or when we seek to find ways of making Parliament more effective, we are in fact really looking at a derivative problem. The original problem is something else. If MPs and Parliament as a whole are frustrated at their inability to influence the government, this is merely a reflection of the electorate's frustration at their inability to control their MPs. And is the quest for a more effective Parliament going to take us then to a system where members of Parliament themselves are more effectively controlled by the electorate, where we can devise new mechanisms not only to allow MPs to exert levers of influence of the government, but also for the electorate to exert levers of influence over their MPs, so that it's not just a once in 5 years kind of a procedure, but something that allows people on an ongoing basis to exercise oversight. That's one thought that I would like to leave you with. Secondly, this was partly triggered by Mr. Shaurya's comments on the discussion on the nuclear deal. We never really got to this, but I'm wondering whether one manner of expanding the effectiveness of Parliament might be to grant Parliament the right to ratify international treaties, major appointments. And here, of course, again, the problem is government with a brute majority can ram something through, but perhaps you could have something like the Senate where you insist on a 2/3 majority, which could make things perhaps more difficult for government to simply do what it wants. That could be the kind of changes that we're looking at, or that we might want to consider. My final suggestion is really to PRS, and this may be a completely wacky idea, but it was partly triggered by Mr. Nilekani's, I thought, excellent observation about the fact that we have to get to the root of what motivates a parliamentarian. And perhaps a very well-designed survey of individual MPs about why it is, on an anonymous basis of course, but why it is that they enter Parliament, what is it that they consider to be their priorities, what is it that they consider to be the benefits of the job, what do they consider to be the weaknesses. I think a well-designed survey which could perhaps allow for them and for PRS.